Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Heroes Reich, Defender of the Fatherland, here to live on to yours. And here's another lovely episode with lots of commentary and other wonderful goodies and bits. We shall be watching in the northern part, Stephenn fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 1st Armored Division. Hoorah and all that. Taking up the fight against the Yankee gangsters is Purlictor, fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the 352nd Infantry Division. Stoically fighting against the Yankees with a one pioneer start. This is definitely rather unusual, and he's rather going towards the west. And of course this rather means that initially, Stephenn will quickly be able to sort of gain a larger amount of the map in comparison with poor little Purlictor. Rifle on the way. Soon indeed. Soon my pretties. No, not my pretties. I'm not some sort of witch. At least not from what I'm aware. Rifle squad ready. At the same time, MG42 ready. Didn't really get much of an advantage in that sense, although he is much able to sort of quickly follow up with a second unit from the Wehrmacht quarters. But starting out with an MG42, this is definitely some pretty peculiar play, pretty aggressively. In some sense, not what I would recommend, though, for most novices. This is definitely not something I would recommend most players to do at all, and I suspect this might actually be some experimental play on the behalf of Purlictor. Rather than moving up, MG42 setting up to try and cover the crossroads, hoping to catch some Yankees. And second unit out is a Volkswagen squad. And of course the second rifleman squad is not out yet. So of course there could have been an advantage, but again, note, already now, Stephenn is largely holding most of the map, although he's not holding most of the vital resource points. In comparison, what does Purlictor hold? Bollocks. He's got a bit of this, and that's about it. This is a rather disadvantageous situation he's initially put himself in, and of course already there, Stephenn is pretty much just going around seizing as many points as he can, while laughing at the Germans. Rifleman squad, though, quickly running into an MG42, while Purlictor heroically goes for the cut-off point, at the same time, of course, trying to secure the fuel here, although which shall not be initially connected, and in fact, quickly, Purlictor shifts the Volkswagen over to try and deal with that, and he's going to leave the MG42 to take that point. Bloody ballsy, but at the same time, Rifleman moving in, and they do spot an MG42 crew. MG42 might try and sort of deal with that. And, oh dear, engineers coming under fire. Engineers, Rifleman, managed to actually escape the MG42. Rifleman moving in from the north again. Third squad on the way. Fourth something on the way for Purlictor from the Wehrmacht quarters. Rifleman, oh! Conrad gets partly spotted, but he managed to get the bloody devil away. Rifleman moving in, more Rifleman moving up, lining up for the west, MG42s. And we are quickly seeing Purlictor pulling his forces together to sort of create a slightly more stable all-around defense. One setting up to cover the southern approach, and there we go. Stephenn's troops are getting stopped. More Rifleman in from the north. Oh, not quite the right direction. Will not be able to stop all of the forces. Volkswagen's moving in to deal. Another MG42 shifts about. One squad suppressed. MG42 gunner down. Second squad of Volkswagens arrive. Fourth unit out from the Wehrmacht quarters. One squad of MG retreats. Rifleman getting a bit of losses right there, but they do manage to largely get out, and they actually almost cut down the MG42 crew. Purlictor, though, quickly shifts forward. Again, barely holding any territory again. I do wonder if perhaps he shouldn't at least have initially had some sort of bike or Schwimm running out, perhaps in that way sort of balance things off. But again, to the Wehrmacht, there's no real advantage. He's just going with one pioneer. Compared to the Americans, of course, just doing it because the thing is, again, with the Americans, their infantry can take points much faster. So in that sense, you will be able to sort of compensate for that through, of course, just the Riflemen, whereas with the Wehrmacht, well, Volkswagens don't really sort of gain any faster capping before, the next tier. And the MG42 doesn't gain a bonus at all. Might want to take that point. Just a silly suggestion. or at least, lay down some sandbags or some wire or something. In fact, we are seeing barbed wire going down there. Raven moving in, coming under fire. Point down there, seeming secure by another Volkswagen squad. Raven moving up, the MG42 setting up, but will it be in time? 4 squads arriving out for Stephenn, and there we go, caught in the middle of the road. Heavy machine gun fire rakes them.
The Huns are taking our territory.
The MG42, known as the Hitler's Busso or Die Hitlersäge by German troops, or apparently the Hitler Geige, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but apparently Hitler's violin. Which rather means that Hitler played a very mean violin. At least from what I know, yeah, just upon some bits on sort of military slang used by the German troops. Lots of interesting stuff there, actually. Lots of fun stuff. Oh, getting caught right in front of the MG42, of course, all the pioneers, and of course, negative cover rather means, of course, they're easier to hit and take more damage. Rather unfortunate, but I think that's actually a third MG42 out from Purlictor, no? No, that is a third MG42 out. He's actually going pretty aggressively, but for Bill, that's more towards holding lines, and of course, he might be trying to do that, but oh dear, Stephenn pulls the rug from down underneath him and quickly rushes in. A flamethrower squad caught behind enemy lines and burns the crew, leaving one crowd dangling on the MG42. This is an absolute disaster. At the same time, Browning automatics pop out for Stephenn. This is quickly turning a bit sour for Purlictor, and that's definitely one gift from the Wehrmacht to Stephenn. Although I'm pretty sure Purlictor will be not viewing it like that. Raven squad, though, getting caught up here. 2 Volkswagen squads. Raven already taking heavy casualties. 1 Volkswagen down. That was poor Helmut. Flamethrowers pushing in. MG42 setting up to try and cover that approach. Another engineer squad moving in from the north. And Stephenn continues the assault in the name of Uncle Sam. Again, Purlictor's map control again a bit limited. Tragically so. And of course, with an MG42 now in the hands of Uncle Sam, he's also going to be in a bit more trouble when trying to push forward with his, at this current stage, rather limited military forces. There you go, they managed to catch the MG42 out in the open, quickly sending away that machine gun. Mining down there, this is good, although I think Stephenn could generally be a bit more aggressive with his mining. There's been very little from it so far. Same with Purlictor, although again, considering the stage of Purlictor and again the minimal map control, that is rather understandable. Another MG42 crew forced away. Currently, Purlictor is rather drastically overextending himself. I mean, he's clearly taking some losses, and apparently he's hoping that basically just going all in might be able to overcome some of the problems, laying down some mines there, but oh, Stephenn spots it. Flamethrowers rush in, and of course the Volkswagen right there going to be in problem. In fact, oh, he needs to get away from the mine. And it's, oh, it wasn't even finished. Cancel, and there we go, full retreat. No, sniper moving up, Scharfschütze. The other MG4s were still there, reinforcing, or at least preparing. Stephenn pushing onwards, nice and aggressively. This would be a good spot for mining, just like this is. Oh, mine goes off. They're getting 2 Volkswagen on the retreat. More replacements for Purlictor to make. And of course, it's not moving in straight there again. This is a pretty much prime spot for, of course, MG42 coverage. Of course, he's going to hook through here around the Bocage. Again, that is rather what's so interesting about Angoville. There's all these spots, you know, you can try and hook up out and hit an MG42 on the flank. But there's another one covering this opening. Oh dear, that was nicely placed right there, Purlictor. MG42 getting outflanked, and in fact the entire west could quickly be lost. The MG42 needs to retreat, and there's a sniper though. Purlictor, oh there we go, sniper could get cut down on the retreat. Oh, that was bloody awful close. Purlictor though and the men of the 352nd quickly line up for a counter-attack, I would hope. The men of the 352nd was rather the sort of real good quality infantry division facing against the Americans on D-Day. It was a division sort of reformed out of a shattered one and was prepared for the Eastern Front, were preparing, so in that sense, and they had gotten good amounts of training, so in that sense the officers had been working them extra hard to prepare them for the Eastern Front, which rather came to an advantage when they then faced off against the Americans, since that meant they were rather used to already fighting outnumbered, outmanned, and without an awful lot of support. Although the 352nd was actually a pretty heavily supported division, besides its tank hunter company actually being equipped with assault guns instead of just mortars. It also had a Nebelwerfer battery actually attached to it, was actually a bit rarer. MG42 on the Americans, stopping the mines. It was a good move from Purlictor, actually preparing for mines now that he's actually experienced them. And there we go, actually, I think Stephenn actually has laid down some there. Goodbye, Stephenn. And looks like this counter-assault by Purlictor has completely faltered in the face of Stephenn, attacking through the attack. Quickly sending Purlictor scurrying back home. And Pioneer's trying to go for some cut-off points here, but not doing too well. Might need to retreat. Pack up. Bit interesting considering all the riflemen, but again he might be worried that of course Stephenn will already be at the armor stage, and of course he knows his map control has been rather drastically limited at the moment, but he does not give up. In fact, he's using the sniper as much as possible to really drain out the life of Stephenn's men, the 1st Armored Division. There we go, 1 squad retreating. 6 kills already. Troops reinforcing, Fulton is moving up. MG42, of course, the Pioneers just in case, and actually notice right there already, Stephenn is preparing for the German assault with some fortifications. Nice move, but sadly the riflemen were nowhere to really take advantage of them, plus of course the sniper rather mucked things up. And already there, Purlictor rather gave away his pack, which could definitely affect Stephenn's future strand, at least for a while, but there we go, has to quickly move out and regain as much territory, of course, as possible. Because otherwise, I mean, he's staring at the fact that currently Stephenn, the man of the 1st Infantry Division, is so far holding most of the map. But lots of fun facts about the German soldier slaying. Apparently they also like referring to the Americans as gangsters. Apparently from all those movies from America they actually managed to see. So fun fact there. And they also had a rather funny term for all those forces sort of, you know, quickly thrown together to sort of hold the line. And that was Gebirgsmarine. Which, you know, sort of is a configuration of, you know, marines from a soldier perhaps, you know, or, and of course Gebirgs, so mountain and sea. Fun. And you know, they're pushed away. And there was a lot of other fun, you know, slaying they had. And of course so did the Allies, the British and the Americans, although so far I've not had much time to look at that. Pioneers though getting gunned down. The minesweeper men might not make it, but they do. MG42 sending up, of course. Another one also. Oh, covering the flank, nice, but there's not going to be anything protecting from here. Rather than here, getting stopped, and no doctrine as yet for Purlictor. Assault phase ready, and a strafing run. Oh dear, just cutting down so many troops, and the sniper could have been dead. Oh my goodness. Rather than here getting stopped, but this was a rather bloody close encounter. And clearly Stephenn has gone airborne. Could he be going for anything? And he's already going for a tank depot. Oh, the audacity, of course. Airborne rather works out for him. Why? Because he's already holding 3 out of 4 high munitions points on Angoville. So that really ought to be an indicator of how things are going. And this is definitely going to be an uphill fight, although the Sturm Armory will help. But again, high losses. No infantry, no infantry, so 2 squads, and again, the sort of good minimum is a 3 infantry squad minimum, so quick some grenadiers might be an idea as well. But of course, also a medic bunker could work out for Purlictor. Again, sort of help with losses in the longer run, but sadly, again, he might not have had resources for that, again, partly again due to a lack of munitions overall. So again, the sort of 1 Pioneer star is rather limiting in a lot of perhaps unintended ways, sadly. Can happen. But there you go. Also note, he actually wants to reinforce the Pioneers. I'm not entirely sure they're within reinforcement range, and they are, but otherwise, I mean, 1 Pioneer building something is going to take ages to finish it. Very important. Just to sort of note, MG4 setting up, but the riflemen covering the flank where they can't quite hit. 4-6 Jürgen. And he's going for observation post. He's really lining up for some airborne shenanigans. Going for more. He's 2 observation posts. He's spending an awful lot of manpower. He must have been floating a bit and figured, well, I want lots of airborne staff. Also, he might consider getting a medic station up. No supplied upgrades as of yet, though. MG42 from the Americans, opening up on the Germans. Getting sniped, though. Sturm Armory up, and we are seeing an armored car on the way. Schwerer Panzerspielwagen, mines from Stephenn, left and right. They're not an awful lot overall. And of course with these 2 observation posts, of course, he could also lay down a lot of mines, but again, he probably will be using it to feed his airborne forces. Mines right there by Purlictor, stopping the rifleman squad there. Nicely done. Gutes Arbeit. Slowly pushing forwards there again. Purlictor trying to secure, and of course now a Sherman is on the way. That definitely spells trouble for poor Purlictor, and I suspect he might actually be noticing the Sherman right there, which might give cause to cancelling that armoured car, and yes indeed he does it right in time before it's finished, and quickly shifts the resources towards the Sturmgeschütz. Because otherwise, in fact, if he hadn't cancelled that, he wouldn't have the resources to get it any time soon. I mean, that's rather the current state of Purlictor. Again, starved on fuel, starved on munitions. The only thing he's not starved on is manpower. But again, the fact that Stephenn has many more resources sort of counter that with, of course, he has more munitions, of course, lots of strafing runs, bombing runs, meaning the manpower he does have can easily be sort of drained out if he's not careful. Reifman moving up. Again, I would like a Grenadier squad, I think, to sort of support with some additional infantry. Wiring off there to sort of provide sort of a flank cover, but of course there's a Sherman right there, so that might soon be wasted effort. No further observation posts right here over there. Riflemen and engineers waiting for an assault. Veterans one on the engineers. Lovely job. Sturmgeschütz 4 is klar. Not really the primary assault gun on in Normandy. I believe the Stug 3 was the main course, but the 17th SS Panzer Battalion was fully equipped with Stug 4s. So that might have been why it happened. And apparently a unit got stuck, but Stephenn, the gentleman he is, of course, saves the poor Volksgrenadiers. A good sport right there. Sniper hanging about here. Assault gun rolling in. No veterans for it though, still. As long as that Sherman is not upgunned, Purlictor will stand a chance, in particular with a pack in tow. But of course, the troops right here did spot the Stugs, of course. Purlictor will be aware, and he might even take... Stephenn will be aware. Did I say Purlictor? Oh dear. Anyways, Stephenn, of course, will be aware, and he might decide to take countermeasures like upgunning this German, in which case the Stug will suddenly be on the losing side of the fight. As otherwise, it will require 2 unupgraded Stugs to take on 1 Sherman if it's upgunned, and of course you will still lose 1 Sherman. And there we go, finally a Grenadier squad out 2 packs to sort of provide more heavy anti-tank fire. 1 Stug moving up, pack covering it, MG4 using up on the flank. Stug quickly turns about. Gets 1 gunner, Sherman rolls in, flank. But there we go, pack firing away, Panzer Abwehrkanone. Stug takes a hit. Sherman down to half health. Rifleman moving up could be dangerous if they get off a sticky bomb. And Stephenn, of course, might be prepared. Sniper owns up, gets 1 rifleman. Oh dear, Stug getting too close. Rifleman pushing in on the flank. MG42 stopping the assault. Stug perhaps trying to crush them, I'm not sure. Retreating, he doesn't have sticky bombs yet. American assault still stalling on the western flank. Rifleman moving up there, encountering now the Grenadiers. And... oh, bombing run, getting the Pioneers, almost getting the MG crew. The Stug dodging it like a jammy bastard it is. That was bloody damn close. And we're seeing... oh! Stephenn, you bastard, calling in a recon run. He's going to do one of the nastiest things you can ever do, which is calling a strafing run just as they all retreat. Absolutely bastard move, though it seems like Purlictor dodges it. For now. Oh dear, he's still getting a strafing run. Oh! Not as heavy casualties as I could imagine. Again, if they had been clumped up there, and again, some Americans do love to do it. It's a nasty thing. But again, you don't see a lot of Americans using airborne anymore, but bloody lucky that Purlictor was quick enough to actually sort of react and spread out his troops sufficiently enough to ensure they didn't all get murdered. At this stage, he could consider getting a medic bunker up to sort of help with the losses in the longer term. Stug again, rolling in forwards. Sherman ready, another one probably on the way, or could be an upgun. A bit of fire in the observation post, Pioneers following up. No infantry to follow up, though less good. Sherman rolling in again. Pack not pointing in the right direction. Less fortunate for Purlictor. Schnell, Männer. Die Feind sind hier. And meanwhile, engineers sneaking up on the flank, wiring off this spot. Purlictor tired of trespassers. Get off mine lawn, I suppose. Engineers still moving in. And the Sherman moves in, getting off a few good shots on the Volksgrenadiers. Pack moving up. No upgrades for the Grenadiers, Panzerjäger or LMG or otherwise. And swiftly pulling up there. Again, not a lot of mines from Stephenn. I think a few good here could really do a lot to sort of slow down Purlictor's advance if he ever decides to move in there. Second Stug on the way. And Sherman upgun damaged engine on the Stug already. I mean, this Stug will not make it. Packs need to be quickly directed. And of course now the Sherman has a much better chance of basically dealing with the Stug. Main gun destroyed. Sherman almost down. Stephenn needs to retreat it. Bloody close though. And sticky bomb from the rifleman. Pioneer's trying to repair and... oh! Infinitely lucky right there by Purlictor. Though his luck won't last much longer at this rate. Engineers pushed out by the Volksgunners again. A mine here, that would be good. No more mines going down there. Good. Good. Not all bad. Let us return to Stephenn. Oh, the 1st Infantry Division taking on the Grenadiers of the 352nd. Which rather was sort of the main force holding up the Americans for a large part of the Normandy fighting until Operation Cobra, which by the time the 352nd had been completely battered despite having received several battalions and different other units actually reinforce it. Including a Schnellbrigade and other fun things.
Germans are seizing territory.
But they held on nonetheless. And at one stage actually managed to hold up 4 American divisions.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory.
Purlictor doing what he can to slow down the victory point drain, and he's getting rather heavy. Rather getting stopped there by the MG42. Another bombing run ready. Another Sherman on the way. A bit of mortar works, I think, could do nicely for Stephenn to sort of bomb the Germans out of their holes. Stug pulling away. Sniper still doing his nasty work. 21 kills. And Purlictor intent on stopping all that munitions from falling into Stephenn's coffers. Yep. Oh, hiccups. Curse you. And there we go. Observation post down, limiting Stephenn's munition income even slightly, though quickly sort of regained by securing that point. In fact, he's already observation post on another one. Fun, fun. Sherman takes a nice hit. Rifleman sneaking up there. Mines being laid down by Pioneers. We do see a bit of effort on the Sturmgeschütz, that is good. Mortar pulling in for Stephenn, lovely. Sherman getting repaired. Second ready there, also needed repairs. Stug's trying to crush the American riflemen beneath their treads, and a bombing run going in. Oh, knocks out the pack and does a nice bit of damage to one of the assault guns, but doesn't quite knock it out. Could of course open up for a nice flank assault here by the Shermans if Stephenn so decides, but he moves in from several angles, running straight into the pack. Oh, Stephenn, that was less good. Main gun destroyed, and Purlictor pushes in with his assault guns, rifleman in from another flank. Sherman rolling in, pack though recruit by the Volksgunners, although already taking one nasty hit from the Sherman, but actually compelling Stephenn to pull back his armored assault. Immobilized on the Stug, veterans E2, pack decrewed again! And that Stug is actually immobilized. But a veterans E2 does stand a slightly more fair chance against a upgun Sherman, although how good, of course, is another matter. Since now the Stug will be somewhat tougher. Sniper keeps doing all that killing work. 26 kills, rifling being stopped. Purlictor is gaining a slightly better chance now. Mortar rounds, though, keeping things a bit hot for the Germans. Mortaring their kraut asses. Grenadiers moving in, and oh, in the middle of the road, could be a nice hit for the oh, he misses. And MG42 sending up to cover against the Grenadiers. Mortar moving a bit, reorganizing. A tank destroyer, I think, could be a good thing to sort of spruce up the Shermans to help a bit against the Stooks. Grenadiers pinned, in fact, already. Though the MG42 crew, the source of all that, is quickly getting blasted by the assault gun. MG fire and the main gun proving to be quite nasty.
Germans are seizing territory.
Sherman trying to get away, Stook pushing in. Ooh, bounces that first shot. Grenadiers advancing into the building, and a strafing run. Oh dear. And Marvin pushing into the wounded Phil's Grenadiers, already pinned down by the strafing run. Nice air support right there by Stephenn. Other Sherman, Stook moving in against the Sherman, fully repaired now, and the other Stook. He's trying to get Stephenn's Sherman, but it might not happen. In fact, the Rifleman could sneak up with a sticky bomb behind. And there's nothing to stop them. Yes, indeed, they're going to. Stephenn's going in with the sticky bomb. He goes for the pass. Oh, propaganda wall. Terror for Purlictor. Saves the assault gun. That was bloody close.
Our front lines are collapsing.
Damn bloody close. And looks like a third assault gun rolling in. Anything but factory fresh. Trying to clear out the base defenders here. Purlictor edges his Sturmgeschütz on. Getting it a bit mortared though. And this Stook, I think, needs to be pulled away from the front line. Why does Purlictor insist on having it so close up? Sherman rolls in, main gun lines it, and bounces off. Purlictor desperately tries to pull it out. The men on the 352nd needs every Sturmgeschütz they need. And out of control, Pioneers could also be lost. And they are lost. One Stook left behind. Veterans, you want for the Sherman, increasing speed. Oh dear, this is quickly turning into a disaster for Purlictor, who's in fact a bit low on infantry at the moment, I believe.
Anti-tank paradrop is asking for coordinates.
Oh wait, he's got all 3 infantry squads still anti... Oh dear, he could lose another Stook. Oh, 3 sticky bombs, immobilizing, damaged engines. Sherman just needs to move in and finish the job. Oh, that was damage, although he's calling in anti-tank guns from above. And Sherman going to move in from the rear and knock out that poor Stook. And the riflemen are quickly getting suppressed. Too much machine gun fire, not just from the assault guns, but from the MG nearby. And we can see there the track's gone loose. Anti-tank gun opening up. Sherman rolling in. Sherman moving in from another angle. The Stooks are surrounded. Destroyed engine. Purlictor must say what he can. And there we go, another Veterans who won Sherman. A pack moving up desperately. MG42 sitting up to cover against any advancing American infantry. This would be a good spot for a bombing run, but sadly not enough munitions for Stephenn and the 1st Armoured Division. But this is definitely some more cav armoured fights we're actually seeing. I mean, we're still seeing aggression for both players, but they're also not the type to just throw away their armor. I mean, both are interested, of course, in keeping their Stooks alive, and of course the Shermans alive. Which is actually nice to see. Some players aren't a bit more haphazard just throwing away armor. Though again, I think Stephenn, if he's just to get 1 tank destroyer to support the Shermans, he might actually do a lot better. And probably just knock out some of those remaining Stooks a bit quicker. Purlictor, though, is rather extended. I think he needs more infantry. Though I say, granted, I will admit, I do always say, more infantry. Mehr Infanterie. More boots. Schnell. So certainly that can get a bit repetitious, but again, I do think it's a point that bears repeating. Going for the fuel point there. Bold move by Purlictor. And Rifleman getting caught out in the middle of the road. This is less good for Stephenn. Grenadiers in the building doing quite a bit of nasty damage. And we are seeing grenades on the way. The pineapple grenade.
Grenades have arrived.
And there we go. Sherman rolls in, going to clear out the... Oh, nice hit! Hikes goes around, takes out 2 of the gunners. And there we go. A nice rolling assault going for the more open ground. And a strafing run. Getting the pack. Oh, absolutely devastating. And apparently, I think he actually got the last MG42 trying to get away. And now the Shermans are boxing in the Stook. Excellent maneuver right there by Stephenn. Although at the same time, he needs to get the more damaged one away. And where is the anti-tank gun? That needs to move up to support a bit better. Grenadiers still providing a bit of support. Mortar rounds going in. Flamethrower engineers. Oh, the chaos, the carnage. Mortar rounds following. Engineers squad down. He could lose 2, in fact. He could also get a Stug. Anti-tank gun a bit too slow to moving up. Stug, oh there, it moves, it backs right up at the Shermans. Anti-tank gun pointing in the wrong direction. Alas, poor Stephenn. Third one moving in. Stephenn could risk losing all of his Shermans right here. Stug down, veterans E2. Second Stug down. This is so chaotic. Things are quickly shifting about. And a Sherman actually goes down. Pack maneuvering up on the flank. Excellent movement through the houses. Excellent positioning from both players. And definitely great and aggressive use of the pack by Purlictor. Definitely getting the drop right there on Stephenn. And both Shermans got decommissioned. And no, rifle squad not yet down. Oh dear.
Hitting one of our forward emplacements, trying to take our terror to supply lines.
Sadly, Stephenn is having a bit of control, controlling his anti-tank guns. It seems, I do think it's not quite working out for him.
We can airdrop resources now.
Both supply upgrades up, that is good, and now it's getting supply drops in.
Cut off from supply.
Let's return to Purlictor. Without the sniper though, still his infantry, 2 MGs, and 1 Stug surviving this rather tense armoured battle. Rifleman moving up, at least trying to move up on the western flank. Might try to go for the victory point win against Purlictor, although he's holding on rather tenaciously to the victory points. Mortar keeps bombarding. And sadly he's still got these sort of flanking victory munitions points right there with the observation posts. Folks going to run off. Still no veterancy for Purlictor's infantry. And a new sniper. But looks like the 350 chicken has managed to stabilize the situation, although at rather a high cost to the infantry. And their assault guns. So many assault guns lost. MG42 outmaneuvered. Still no veterancy on the way. He could lose the MG42 and... oh dear, he does. No! That lucky bastard! Oh, never mind. Less than lucky bastard. German counter-attack. A few folks going to Grenadier supported by a sniper. And strafing run gets them all. Well, gets a few. Germany stopping that counter-attack. Königsjäger getting ready. Veterans you want on the way for the infantry. Anti-tank guns only. If Stephenn wants to get a Sherman here, he could possibly actually do a lot of damage to Purlictor right there. Anti-tank and decrewed mines going down, or at least attempting to go down to sort of delay any American advances, while at the same time Stephenn is going very hard for the western flank, what he actually controls, and might even go in here to sort of try and secure this victory point and again continue the drain against Purlictor. That could at this stage, after this, some of the more unfortunate engagement, be his decision, although perhaps 3 observation posts, I mean that is 600 manpower, might have been a bit over the top. Just a suggestion as well. And it also again suggests a medic station. And of course a medic bunker for Purlictor, but can I always say that?
They're losing territory.
Grenadiers advancing. He could consider getting an LMG-42 to sort of help against Stephenn's infantry a bit. No, instead he goes for a propaganda war, allowing the rest of his troops to focus down on one rifleman squad, keep up the pressure. Rifleman getting sniped, and a grenade right at the Grenadiers. Tank destroyer rolling in. The Hellcat, fastest tank destroyer, I believe, or one of the fastest. It was also pretty lightning armored. It's not quite working like that in Cameron Hughes. I'm not sure why they did that. Possibly suppose for some balanced reasons, but this is more like slightly more functional tank destroyer in some senses that can actually cloak some more of an ambush tank destroyer. But it was also actually a bit smaller than that, but there you go. Mine goes off, killing some poor bastard. Probably a pioneer, and looks like though the Königsjäger has arrived. The Tiger 2. To assist in the fight against the armies. Stug though getting outmaneuvered by the tank destroyer. Excellent, excellent. Anti-tank and also moving up. Almost dead Stug. King Tiger rolling in. Will the Hellcat be able to catch its prey? Oh, misses. Again, had he had that to have support the Shermans, I think he actually could have won completely against Purlictor's Sturmgeschütz forces. King Tiger, they're going to prove a nasty surprise, and I do believe we see another Hellcat out. Anti-tank gun getting sniped. Good for Purlictor. Rifleman running into the full screens while getting hunted down by the King Tiger. Less good. And the Sherman even moving in, although should be careful. One straight anti-tank gun shot to the rear, and that's going to be good night. Small fighting over here to try and contain the American advance. And MG Gunner gets blasted out by the high explosive rounds of the King Tiger. Hellcat rolls in. He wants two at job rate at the same time. And there we go, catching the King Tiger while it's still maneuvering about. Oh dear, oh dear. And running course into the Stook. If he only had some bombing runs. Oh dear, there we go, bombing run in. Hellcat down though. Main gun destroyed on the Stook. King Tiger almost down to half health. Anti-tank guns moving up. That might have been a better idea early on. Grenadiers arriving to support. Volkskriegs pulling up as well. Good infantry support. Although the King Tiger is going to get covered in sticky bombs. Careful, Purlictor. And anti-tank gun rounds hit the side. Rifleman getting crushed. Did they put candies beneath the treads again? Damaged engine making it easier target. But the anti-tank gun loses sight and range of it.
Calibrating rangefinders now.
Bloody damn heavy fighting. Stephenn started out strong, but Purlictor's actually managing to get back. Grenadier suppressed a bit. Troops reinforcing again, though again it's going to be a bit more problematic again due to the fact that King Tiger, besides crying 500 up front, also takes 500 manpower sort of in upkeep afterwards. So that's actually going to, I think it's like 3 minutes or something, you get very little manpower in. Which is actually a bit dangerous if you use it at the wrong time, as that can actually end up crippling you further and actually end up losing the game. So again, you should not always just go for the King Tiger when it's your last hope, because that might actually mean that it becomes quite the opposite and actually becomes the final blow to knock you out. So be a bit careful again when trying to get a King Tiger in. Decide, is it actually the time? It looks like Stephenn's got a sniper of his own, trying to stop Purlictor's sniper rampage. Oh, strafing run, and the sniper runs up behind the Bocage, and sadly Stephenn was not able to get him. Bit of a shame there, and of course the strafing run actually, no, the recon run actually alerted Purlictor to the fact that there was an enemy sniper going in, so he actually got over there. Wise move. Wise move indeed. Hellcats could be salvaged, but so far the Pioneers are rather more busy with the King Tiger. Rifleman not hit at all. Mortar pushed a bit away. 6 kills, that's nice. Looks like Stephenn's pushing up there with his anti-tank guns. Hellcat could also be sent in. Rifleman getting hammered. Anti-tank gun, the only thing really holding things up. Sniper on the 30 cal MD42 actually setting up. Pack taking a hit. Hellcat also taking some hits from the Pack. And the Stook. American sniper moving up. Anti-tank gun decrewed. Grenadiers getting suppressed. MD42, they're going to get decrewed, I fear. Trying to lure out Purlictor sniper. But will Stephenn succeed in drawing up Major Koenig and getting him? Mortar rounds falling on the Grenadiers, still not hitting, and there we go, it's another recon run. And Stephenn was way too slow. Tragically. And looks like some riflemen have managed to sneak up behind. King Tiger still with a damaged engine, it can't continue to run. And Stephenn edges closer and closer. But at the same time, those two Shermans cost him a lot. And we are seeing Purlictor push out for the east. King Tiger getting hammered, and a propaganda wall clears out the flank. Lovely move right there by Purlictor. And the Volkskrieger, supported by the Stuke, is holding up things right here nicely here on the east. Ooh, Rifleman down to one man. Might not escape because Stephenn's too occupied. No, he managed to retreat. Oh, he didn't actually fully. Rifleman squad down. BAR left behind for the Germans to frolic with. Grenades, Rifleman getting sniped. Anti-tank guns keep pushing. Oh dear. I think Stephenn might actually have lost his sniper. That was less good, and Stuke catches the retreating Rifleman. Volkskrieger with BARs also moving in. But anti-tank gun catches Stuke, and a sticky bomb. Engine destroyed. Helmut's paint job has been scratched, and a mortar round finishes off and gets veterancy too. That's bloody nice. Mortar crew will need to get the devil out of there. Anti-tank guns pulling back. Stephenn forces are getting further and further savaged. And let us return to Stephenn. The 1st Armoured Division having been savaged despite air support. Spending a lot of resources on supply drops probably to get more munitions. Sherman on the way.
We're losing ground out there. They're hitting one of our forward emplacements.
Clearing out anti-tank guns. Looking a bit grim for Stephenn. Volkskrieger is caught out in the open and run off. How unfortunate. Purlictor, though, still holding on admirably. He's managed a quite a nice comeback despite the unfortunate start, which I think, again, is due to the fact that Stephenn went for 3 observation posts. I think he might have gone a bit overboard there, feeling a bit too confident, a bit too cocky, figuring he could get away with investing 600 manpower just in observation posts. That might have been slightly overly optimistic. Slightly. Firestorm going in. Not really doing a lot of damage, it looks like, though I might be wrong. Mine goes off, actually hitting the mortar. Pack could be used, but the German sniper gets off some good shots. 2 snipers out for Purlictor, increasing the manpower drain. And again, the lack of a medic station is hurting Stephenn viciously, and looks like the King Tiger smells blood and moves in for the Sherman and the kill. Sherman definitely outgunned in this case. Oh, King Tiger missed. Bunker going down there to protect the victory point. Sherman, I think, actually managing to penetrate the frontal armor of the King Tiger right there.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory out of supply.
King Tiger getting hammered by anti-tank gun fire, but will it be enough to stop it? Apparently Purlictor feels so and quickly pulls back. Mortar crew escapes. Volkskrieger moving up on the flank. And a bombing run. Oh, snipers are way too close there in the ditch. And oh, the carnage. 2 snipers went down right there. Excellent bombing run right there by Stephenn, although he probably wasn't expecting 2 snipers in the ditch. Oh, that's more like a grave now.
Forward supply lines.
And King Tiger took an awful lot of damage. Sadly, Stephenn doesn't need anything really to pursue the King Tiger with and knock it out with, which is rather tragic. If you could get that, that could probably knock the stuffing out of Purlictor.
Germans are seizing territory from us.
We got a full combat load. Looks like we fight today. Get out and keep carrying less.
Rifleman moving up. King Tiger pulling up behind the infantry. MG42 providing some nice covering fire right there.
We have territory out of supply.
And some progress up here, but MG Bunker. Widerstand Neste, die 358 holds them up. So a bit of tense fighting right there. And certainly what looked like to be a great game for Stephenn has certainly turned to the favour of Purlictor, due to less frivolous spending compared to Stephenn, I think. Another Sherman ready, but I'm not entirely sure two Shermans can take this on. Although again, King Tiger not at full health, and if he can get off another bombing run at the right angle, he could knock out the King Tiger. And I suspect that might be his move. Yes, indeed. Oh, he's going for a strafing run. Why on earth is he going for a strafing run? Why didn't he just go for a bombing run and knock out the King Tiger? Well, that's puzzling, to be honest. And the building collapsed, losing Stephenn, the MG42. And why is there only one Sherman to handle the King Tiger? Should be sending in the other one to support. Looks like Stephenn might have lost it. I'm not sure. Or perhaps he was feeling confident enough they could knock out the King Tiger. It's so close, but the King Tiger just moves through the bocage. Had he just had one more Sherman, he could have finished it off. Instead, he actually... Oh, he split up. He split up his Shermans just to try and knock out the bunker instead of just thinking about it. Oh, and he lost a valuable chance right there to deliver a knockout punch to Purlictor. Had he lost that, I mean, that would really have done a lot to sort of make Purlictor easier to deal with. And of course, he could just send both Germans over there to help with that afterwards. Instead, he lost one Sherman. And now he's calling in airborne in a desperate attempt to hold up the front line. And there we go. Airborne ready. And another propaganda war stopping any advance by Stephenn. Sherman on bunker duty. Pack sneaking in. Might see another assault gun from there. And there we go. The bunker is down. Observation post there is actually still standing, surprisingly enough. Recall his rifles on the way for the airborne.
They're hitting one of our forward emplacements.
And there we go, another Sturmgeschütz ready for the 352nd. Infantry force moving in. Still not a single LMG.
We have a secured sector under attack.
Also another fun fact for the 352nd, actually their Fusilier battalion was actually more equipped along the lines of a Panzergrenadier unit. Not in that they had the sort of vehicles of it, but they actually had 2 machine guns per infantry squad, which is actually a bit rarer amongst infantry units. So a little fun fact there to sort of close things up with. Sherman retreating. I'm getting stopped there by the MG42. Veterans who won actually now. Pretty close to the front line supply drop right there by Stephenn. Grenade does a bit of damage there to the MG, but King Tiger moves in. Ooh, misses. But they are airborne moving in, rather moving in. Perhaps a last-ditch effort by Stephenn to slay the beast. Though again, I think he missed that when he did not use both Germans to do the job. Airborne getting hammered. Going for the victory point. He needs something to slow down the drain.
Enemy unit down.
Still getting kills, but will it be enough? Stug rolling in. Troops getting murdered by the King Tiger and the Stug now. Sniper also arriving. Sherman rolling in. Knocked out in the distance by the pack. Excellent and actually nice. Sort of in the background scene right there. Fun. Strafing run. So yeah. That didn't work out, and GG, man, well played. Definitely a nice return for Purlictor, despite what a rather experimental and perhaps not the best start. Definitely. Though I do believe Purlictor afterwards is aware of this, of course. There you go. But I mean, I rather think the crucial problem for Stephenn here was perhaps he got a bit, again, too confident and went for a lot of munitions. Observation post on the munitions. In some cases a bit exposed, in other cases, interesting enough, not very exposed. He could also definitely done with more mines and a medic station. He probably should have geared more towards the longer fight in that sense. And I think a tank charge the Sherman's initially on might also have helped him. I mean, it was good aggression, good armor conservation from both players, but also good armor aggression. You know, and that nice combination in the end, though, Purlictor was able to pull through, particularly with the King Tiger, and Stephenn just lacking that extra bit to sort of really finish the fight. Sadly, but there you go. Do hope you enjoyed this game. Do hope you learned something, and if you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send a replay. Beyond this is Bill Dane saying cheers.